Hello everyone. Today we will see how server and client communicate using the real-time streaming protocol and send data using the real-time transfer protocol. The full form of RTSP is real-time streaming protocol and RTP is real-time transfer protocol. RTSP is application layer protocol and RTP is transport layer protocol. There are four major RTSP methods: setup, play, pause and tear down. Setup. Server starts a RTSP session. Play. Starts data transmission on a stream. Pause. Temporarily pause a stream. Tear down. No RTSP session on server anymore. Let's see implementation using Python. There are two parts, server side and client side. So let's see server side port. We will give port number as a server argument. Here we are creating RTSP socket and binding their socket to server port. Listen 5 means maximum 5 times we can connect to RTSP socket, and after that we will start accepting client connection request. If client connects to the server, then we will store it to this client info dictionary, and after that we will start running this server. Here we are setting these variables. Basically these four are major RTSP methods. For each client we will create a thread, and in that thread for that particular client RTSP requests are received. Here we are receiving data from client socket. This command will process the RTSP request. Here we are extracting the sequence number and request type using array indexing. If request type is setup and current state is init, then we will update current state to the ready. Now server will create a socket to send data from server to client. Socket type is RTP socket, which will use UDP protocol for video streaming. We will create a thread and start sending RTP packets. Here we are starting a thread. If request type is pause and client's current state is playing, then we will update it to ready and stop running the thread. If request type is pause and current state is playing, then we will update it to the ready and stop running that thread, and we will reply to client that we have processed the request pause. If request type is tear down, then also we will stop running that thread and we will also close RTP socket. The function send RTP sends data from server to client using RTP protocol. First of all, we will get data using video stream class. We will get frame number and data. We will send this data to client. In make RTP function, we are just creating a RTP header which consists of RTP address plus data means payload. In deploy RSTP function, we are handling different errors. In this function, we are creating RTP packets for which we are using RTP packet class. Now let's see RTP packet class. In RTP packet class, there are many functions like encode, decode, version, sequence number, etc. Here we are creating 12 bytes header array, and here we are setting the bits. In decode function, we will decode the byte array. Sequence number function will return the sequence number that currently server is sending to client. Get payload will return the actual data that we are sending from server to client. So now let us see client side code. Here we are accepting 4 system arguments. First one is server address on which server is running. Second one is server port, which is basically RTSP socket port. It is RTP port on which our RTP server is running. And at last we are getting file name which we want to stream. Here we are running client class. Here we are setting the basic variables. These 4 are major method of RTSP. These all parameters we are getting from client launcher file. Initially we are setting RTSP sequence and session ID as 0. Then we are calling function connect to server. Function connect to server. So here we are creating RTSP socket at client side and will connect using server address and server code to server side RTSP socket. We are also running create widget. So let's see that function. This create widget function will build GUI. When we will click on setup button, then we will send RTSP request from client side to server side using send RTSP request function. So let's see send RTSP request function. Send RTSP request function. If request type is setup and current state is init, then we will start running a different thread and will increase RTSP sequence number by 1. And we will keep track of last request which client sent to the server. If request type is play and current state is ready, then we will increment RTSP sequence number by 1 and will also keep track of send request. If request type is pause and current state is playing, then we will increment RTSP sequence by 1 and keep track of send request. This is request format. So we are encoding data here. Let's see play movie function. If client click on play movie button, then we will create a new thread for getting data from server to client using RTP socket and will start thread. Now let's see play movie function. If client click on play movie button, then we will create a new thread for getting data from server to client using RTP socket and will start thread. And we will send RTSP request to server, and this time type of RTSP request will be play. In listen RTP function, we are continuously receiving data from server. Here we are decoding the data that we are getting from the server side. Current frame number is the sequence number that we are receiving from the server side. If current frame number that is received from server side is greater than frame number that is stored on client side, then only we will proceed and will discard the late packet. In this receive RTSP reply function, we are receiving reply from the server. After receiving reply, we will decode that reply and will process parse RTSP reply. This parse RTSP reply function parse the RTSP reply from the server. If server replies sequence number is same as request sequence number and session ID is 0, then we will store session ID in session ID variable. If it is already same on server side and client side, then we will update this state according to the current state. This open RTP port is used to receive data from server. In listen RTP function, we are getting data from RTP socket and we will decode that data using RTP packet class function. And we will update our GUI using update movie function. If client click on tear down button, then we will send RTSP request from client to the server. After that, we will destroy GUI window using this command. And we will also delete temporary files which we have created to display video stream. Now let's see demo.
So here I am running the Python code. First we start the server on this port number. After that we start client on this port number, and this is the body on which video will be streamed. So first client send setup request which is received by the server. After that client send play request which is received by the server, and client send pause request which is received by the server. And these are the different sequence number which indicates different frames which will be used to stream this video. And this is tear down request which sent from client and received by the server. Thank you.